Pleasure to have you. Tell us, what has prompted the committee members to call for an extraordinary Congress?
Yeah. Briefly, is that in terms of the constitutions, if there is an incident or the contact of the elected office bearer who is contravening or have reasonable grounds, the member believe that is contravening the constitutions of the organization. Employees who are a member in good standing have the right to call the extraordinary Congress within the meaning of the union constitutions. What prompted the extraordinary Congress to be called is a contact of the office bearer, who is the General Secretary of Namibia Security Workers Union.
How common are such misconduct practices amongst union leadership in Namibia generally?
Yeah. General is that office bearers who have been elected to lead the organizations, they tend this organization to be as if it's their own organization, which means they put or they prioritize their interests at the expense of the masses, which they're supposed to represent the interests of the members who are the member of the unions. You see, we are having this predicament where we find the General Secretary believe that it's their union. They forget that the union belong to the workers, union belong to the members who are paying and contribute every month to make the union functioning. And that's the reason we are saying that in general is that much of the colleagues who are the office bearer, they believe that union is their own. That's why even you find them with a certificate in their bag, everything in their bag, suitcase. That's why we are saying that it's a high time now where the employees themselves, now we educate them to understand their role, their responsibilities, and who is who. And that's why we are seeing these things are happening now, as happens at NASWU.
Your concerns are regarding the misconduct of the General Secretary. Now, how long has this been going on, and what action did the union take in that regard?
Yeah, this come for a quite long time, where we have members who are having cases which are piling up at just the union office without being registered with the Office of the Labour Commissioner, or we are having cases which have been withdrawn without the consent of the members by the General Secretary. And we also have an incident where the General Secretary is now cahoot or working along with the employer to dismiss and to silence the employees. And we are having the audios, we are having this. At the union side, what we decide to do is that the union, since this person was elected by the Congress, the body which can able to discipline the office bearer is only the Congress. That's why the members, they took up to the street and said, it's a high time we must petition the president to call the Congress, because the body which have to have accountable for the General Secretary is only the Congress. That's the reason why the Extraordinary Congress was initiated.
Now, how many members does NASWU represent, and what impact did this misconduct affect the employees across the multiple security companies you represent?
Yeah, NASWU represent a paid-up member plus minus 2,000 members, and member who are more than 3,000. When we are saying about paid-up member, we are having employers who are deducting every month, and we are having those just members who just joined, but their employers, they are not deduct. They are refusing to deduct because of the clause in the Constitution. I mean, the Labor Act is saying it is a prerogative of the employer to deduct, may or must deduct if the employer wants, if there's no recognition agreement in place. Now, the contact of the General Secretary is affecting all these employees. We are having a lot of colleagues who have been dismissed, who are having hearing, not being represented, and a lot of companies now employees that are bulldozing. We are having companies like PIS with NAST employees that have been threatened left and right, and this is a government institutions. We are having Minister of Health, VICMAC employees that have been victimized left and right. Windhoek Securities is the same. That's why I'm saying this impact affect a lot of employees and a lot of companies. As now we are dealing with the national minimum wage gazette, is also becoming a problem because the enforcement of this company who are not complying, working along now and being shared now by the General Secretary, is now becoming very difficult for the employees to get what is expected from them. Even the working environment for the workers, I'm telling you, it's a fact that employees have been threatened left and right. And this also, the contact also affect us, the union officials, because now he's writing letters that we must not represent the employees. Then now we are seeing even incident which took place last week, where one of the company, PIS, the employer himself, he handcuffed me, myself, holding me, just for me coming to represent the workers. Now we are saying, if these things is happening to the union leaders, union officials, what about people who are working under these employers?
Now, Mr. Frans, this is one of those rare occasions where the union members are calling for the removal of the union secretary general. What does this tell us about NASWU?
Yeah, things are changing. That's why people, they take security by granted. But now things are start changing. Employees now start realizing their power and their right, which is confirmed within their constitutions. It's a high time now the employees, they realize that it's them who are having the power, it's them who have to rise. Because in much occasions, what they used to do, they used to resign from this union to another union. And resigning from the other union, it will not solve any problem. That's why they want to take the ownership of the union and said, enough is enough. We are no more going to resign from this union. We have just to change the leadership and elect the leadership which can able to represent our interests as workers in the sector.
Now, lastly, has your petition been received, and how soon do you expect the extraordinary Congress to be convened?
Yeah, the petition was received by the president of the union, which is Comrade Saddam Amshelelo. He make it very clear the date for the Congress is already set, which is the 28th of this month, June. And all the members, and I'm in a position that the General Secretary was already informed to call the extraordinary Congress as per the petition which was handed over by the employees. Because in the petition it's very clear that if the president failed to call the Congress within the time frame which is being given to him, the employee themselves, they are going to convene their own Congress and elect their new leadership. As for now, we understand already that the president has already instructed the General Secretary by his virtue of his position to call the extraordinary Congress in line with the union constitution, where only the paid up members who have to participate or have to be delegated to elect themselves and elect their new leadership, which is in their interest.
Just like that?
Yes.
Okay. And how does that, and usually that process takes how long?
Yeah. Normally in terms of the constitution, 4 years. But if there's something which is coming up now, like this issue of the contact of the General Secretary, in terms the Constitution give a provision for the extraordinary. That's why the extraordinary is being called specific to deal with the issue which is being raised before the time of the office of the General Secretary is not lapsed, because it's only the Congress can able to decide whether to remove the General Secretary or to elect the General Secretary.
Mr. David Frans, yes. A pleasure to have you, and thank you. And we're sure that everything will go as planned.